influence training, because they know theory, but they don't know the practical side of it. They don't know how, because the theory, the theoretical model is the model that has been running and has been failing, because all they know is their books. And if a patient doesn't fit their book, they don't know what to do with it. They overdiagnose, underdiagnose, or just forget about it. They need training, practical training. So how do you, is that something you discuss with the policymakers?
Yes, it is something that we discussed with them, and in fact the Afro Trust is starting in December to roll out a training course called Mental Health and Effective Practice, where we'll be talking to them about all those things that aren't in the books. Because actually, the things in the books, you can read up on them, but you can't change attitudes without understanding the communities. So what we want to do is to roll out training programs that are not about what is mental health and what is manic depression and what is bipolar. And we want to roll out a training program that says, how do you meet the needs of the individual that uses your service? You know, what do you need to know about them to make it effective? And one of the problems that we have is exactly what you're saying, is that people see the books, and it's a bit like, I don't know about you, but my parents, my father's died now, but my parents always used to say to me, there is a difference between qualification and education. Education is about your experiences and how you use those experiences for the greater good. Qualifications, if you have a good memory, you can get them. You can even buy them off the internet these days, let's be honest. So the reality is that we need to work with the frontline workers and the decision makers and teach them how to find out about the communities that they serve, how to meet their needs, and just how to treat people as individuals. One size does not fit all, and we need to stop making policies that assume that.
Yeah, education and qualification. My take on that is brainy and intelligence. I prefer intelligence to brains. Brains is reading a book and reciting. Intelligence is learning how to use that brains in the real life setting. Just one more question. I heard of you about a year and a half ago from a friend. How come I don't really hear, but you're not advertised within the mental health services? And I didn't hear about you when I was in hospital. Where and how do you advertise?
The Afro Trust itself. The reason that you don't hear about us so much is because we don't do frontline services. One of the problems that we have is that people often ring us asking individually for our support, and we can't offer that support. We work on a tier 2 level, so we advise ministers, we research. We recently did some research for the NHS about the attitudes of providing effective services for black and minority ethnic communities, which was really interesting because they did their own survey and they were horrified with what came out of that survey, which was basically their decision makers saying, we haven't really got time to differentiate, we just do what we do. So we did another survey looking at the next lot of managers down who had the same attitude. BME, what's that? Who cares? We haven't got time. We don't want to do that. So we do that kind of work. And one of the reasons why you don't see us advertise out there is because it gives an impression that we can help individuals, which we can't. We would love to. We would love to be able to help individuals. And we have a website with a social networking site called Backchat. And a lot of individuals use that to mouth off how they're feeling, and then they can get feedback from other people who are feeling the same. But we don't offer one-to-one individual frontline services, and that's why you won't hear of us. People who are working at policy level will know about us. We'd love to offer both services, that I have to say.
Sorry, Patrick, sorry, Tara. Sorry to be left here. Could you break down, because you say you support black fathers, could you sort of break down the type of support you give them? And how you, because you say you're 40 members strong, how do you retain them? Because a lot of black organisations, people lose the fire quick, they get bored, they get tired of it, because they want progress within 2 weeks. And if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing properly, and it takes time. So what sort of support do you offer them, and how do you retain that number? Because 40 is quite a high number.
I think one of the main things we have in our organisation is trust. And I think that's the main thing. So because everyone trusts each other, and because we see each other every Thursday, which is more often than we see some of our members of our own family, we're like brothers now. And that goes a long way. And I think also what's helpful is that we have like food. We make sure we have a hot pot of soup or some rice and peas and something. Every Thursday, so when they can come straight from work and come and have something hot to eat at the same time. And I think that's one of the main reasons probably why they stay together. But also, it's a room full of intelligent and some brain boxes in there as well. Intelligent people, and it's a different mix. But one thing for sure, I've never gone there on a Thursday without learning something. And every Thursday, someone gets a chance to speak, and each one teach one. And plus, there's so much skills in the room, so now I hardly pay for anything. There's a plumber, there's all kind of people in there, a lawyer, everybody. So, and that's a good thing. We get to utilize each other's skills at the same time. So that's another thing that keeps us together. Plus, we've all got this real interest in the Gambia and in the school project together over there. We're actually going over there this Thursday, a lot of us to go and open the school in Nari. And that takes a lot of us as well on holidays together and stuff like that. Mind it's not much of a holidays, a lot of work with like D10 schools and stuff like that. But nevertheless, it's things like that. And we do, some of the guys, they go around Lucian every Saturday and they talk to people who look like themselves, because a lot of black people our age are frightened to talk to children of 15, 16, 17. They think they might get stabbed or some kind of negative connotation. So a lot of the guys go out there and actually speak to them, connect with them and see where they're at. And some of them come to the house group as well.
How many years has the service been running?
We actually started off with as a 6 weeks program, and at the time they were saying that black men don't actually talk, but a lot of the guys enjoyed talking and enjoyed coming back. And when the 6 weeks was over, they said it can't stop. So we were funded for 6 weeks by some Malaysian council, council. And when the 6 weeks was finished, we decided to fund it ourselves. So basically, we all contribute to the food and whatever else that we need to contribute to. We lost the place in September. So a couple of the guys, Dr. Les and a couple of guys who go there, they managed to raise a little bit more funding to keep it going a bit longer. So we're still filling out rooms to keep it going. But generally speaking, you guys are tight. Network of people you trust.
In the time that you've been working, have you found or picked up on that there's certain causes or what I want to know is there a common reason for the breakdown of the family structure that you found? Is there something you can say, you can put your nail on and say, this is the main cause of the family breakdown?
I could never say it's for one reason or one size fits all. Normally when people come to the father's room, they come in at different points. Normally it's a crisis, 9 out of 10 times it's a crisis. And some people are inquisitive and they come as well. But to answer your question, no, I wouldn't say there's one reason. Some people, I think, wasn't compatible in the first place, if you like. And maybe through lust or some reason they got together and the child comes in more problems. But like I said, there's too much different reasons. Sometimes it's cultural. There's some people who come to our father's group and their wife might be Jehovah's Witness and they're a Catholic for argument's sake, and the religion has split them up. Sometimes it might be, one might be West Indian, one might be Indian or African or something like that. And the cultural problem problems coming from the family. But obviously there's too much reason. We'll be here next week and the week after going through.
What tools do you think you provide the young men to deal with the problems? What tools do you is it empowerment, or do you give them access to special services like mediation services? What tools do you give them to solve their problems and empower them to basically get themselves together?
Well, at the moment, every Saturday between 10 and 12 at Lucian Way Community Centre, we have a few teachers who are amongst us, and they give people who suffer with problems with their maths and English, they'll give them help in maths and English. And more than anything else, they're mentored. There's a lot of children there who's mentored by one of the guys in the group, and normally that helps. And a lot of the children who's probably failing in school, there's a lot of them now who's passed, since I've been there, they've passed degrees, like they've left school, passed degrees, some of them have got their GCs at A levels, but they've actually done a lot better than from where they were. Some of the reasons is because some of them never have fathers in their life, or no male figure of authority in their life, or a male figure they even trust or like to. But some of them don't know their fathers, some of them don't like their fathers, due to whatever relation breakdown is. However, when they come to the father's breakdown, they need someone that they can trust and out of the full of us, who they can get with and open up, and then get some very good advice, and that's all they come. Two
final questions. First one's to you, and the last one's going to be for both of you. Well, both of them could be for both of you, actually. What I find is that BME Mental Health, Black Fathers Group, organisations that deal with black people or the problems that black people have tend to work isolated. And the problems, all the problems, not one problem can fit the words you said. It's a cultural thing. And culture has many parts. And the problems are many. And they're linked, as far as I'm concerned. They're linked. It's a cultural thing. For me, our culture has been broken down. Family structure, religion, extended family, discipline, things like that. They're all part of the roots, the foundation, and it's been broken up. So the organizations that deal with it, they're very isolated. And there have to be some form of joined up working. How does your organization seek to do that, or are you seeking to do that? And how do you see that coming about for black organizations?
Well, with the Fathers Group, when I first started the Fathers Group, could have been about 10 years ago. At that time, there was no other Fathers Group, to my knowledge, about the place. And after a while, some people actually get funding to start Fathers Groups. We never did take or get funding on that way. However, there's a lot of people starting Fathers Groups up and down the country. This is because I actually started quite a few up in Manchester, all the main cities. But to answer your question to why we're isolated, if you like, I find that the work what's out there to be done is a lot, and some people make excuses for why they don't get involved in an organisation. And I think it's important that we work in an organisation. And if I don't get on with you, all it just means to me is that I should start my own organisation with the same cause in mind. But not make it as an excuse for why I'm not doing any work whatsoever.